Sadly, at this point, ComicsGate has turned into nothing but an attempt to tear down other people's books. And this is really the antithesis of what my movement, when I started it, was supposed to be about. We really wanted to be a difference between mainstream culture. Mainstream Marvel and DC Comics have blacklisted everybody who doesn't have the right politics of them on a global level. Now, on the smaller ComicsGate level now, Ethan Van Sciver has blacklisted everybody who doesn't have the right, like, little petty insular politics as him, I guess. I mean, it's very much the same sort of situation, just stupider. I honestly have more respect for the people at Marvel and DC at this point than these guys because of the way that they treat other independent creators. And it's absolutely sick, and it's something that needs to change. Now, these guys went really, really hard again on Yellowflash's new book this weekend, which is called The Golden Patriot. It's up on Rippasend, and they're doing things that are so far over the line at this point. You got to realize that, like, these are just bad people who are trying to hurt independent comics at this juncture. We're not about that here. We want to do something different. We want to support independent comics and support independent projects. I'm very happy that Yellowflash has just persisted, not bothered with these people, just kept on trucking along. He actually has the biggest indie comic project in these circles in 2025. These guys in ComicsGate have not sold nearly as much as he has at this juncture, so congratulations to him on that, because that's a big, big thing. The only person who's really outsold him is Eric July, and that's exactly why these guys pick at Eric July as well. So it's a good deal. The Golden Patriot is doing very, very well, and it's crushing it, and he's almost 26,100 books sold, which is a big deal as well. Huge congratulations. Let's get into what these guys are doing and saying and what their motivations are in just a moment. My name's John Delarose, guys. If you wanted a difference in ComicsGate, this is the spot to be. We wanted to start a movement that is for conservative creators, for Christian creators who wanted to build something better than what the mainstream industry was offering. Marvel and DC Comics just have a bunch of petty, insular people in a whisper network that are trying to tear down everybody who doesn't subscribe to their extremist communism or their identity politics. They're shoving it into books at a rapid rate, and it's, of course, getting even worse. I mean, they've got this whole Pride line coming out this year, which is some of the cringiest stuff they've ever produced. We started this movement to fight against that, to build something different. And of course, Ethan Van Sciver, your boy Zach, and those guys always acted like they were going to build a big difference, that they were going to make a company that was going to build something new, and it never really materialized. Like, they just decided to live stream ad nauseum and then get into blood sports drama over and over again, rather than actually focusing on and making their books. And because of that, they've really fallen off in recent years. And so it's really, really sad to watch that happen. Those are the people that got held up as leaders, and it's all because they were really on YouTube first, is what it came down to. My bad for not joining YouTube back then, guys. I thought I could do it with the written word, but the written word only goes so far in modern culture. So I want you right now to sign up for my newsletter. You get 3 free books for doing so, including 1 superhero graphic novel, a science fiction novel, and a fantasy novel. This is where it's at, and once I get things going this year, we're going to have a lot coming. I've got 9 full graphic novels in development. I've got a sci-fi trilogy I'm writing right now. We are having a wonderful, wonderful time with great fiction that is edifying. It's good. It's heroic. This is where you really want to be. We're doing everything that those guys promised. Now, I do have a web store as well. If you want to check things out, and if you want to check out books, you want to check out t-shirts, you want to check out my comics, they're all readily available. One of the main things I always criticize as well is this kind of fake collectability culture where you just make, it's a limited variant for 24 hours. Okay, well, that's fake, right? There's nothing actually limited about that. It's totally arbitrary. So I try to get people to read. The problem with the comic industry, too, is, of course, all those variant covers and slabbing. Most people don't even read comics that go into comic shops at this point. It's really, really sad. So we build things and we build systems out here and infrastructure that's designed for you to read. That's why I also offer everything available on digital. That way you can just read it right now if you want to. You don't have to pay for shipping, any of that stuff. If you want to support this, my web store is in the description below as well. We have a lot of different options. If you have any questions, just email me. I love talking about my books, and I appreciate you guys for being here. All right. So like I said, this was pretty ugly this weekend. Ethan Van Sciver posted this saying, I heard Rippasend website is down, and Yellowflash spent his show last night crying about it. Let's effing go. So he's doing a stream complaining and actually just cheering on the fact that I guess Rippasend went down for a couple of hours. Now, websites go down. That's a thing. It happens, and you have to correct things sometimes. I've got a webmaster doing the same thing, and it's really, really sad. This is literally rooting for somebody to not be able to sell their books. It's like if somebody I got banned for Kickstarter. Well, was he going to just root for me to be banned for Kickstarter? Maybe he did. Maybe he's the one who reported me. I don't know. Somebody reported me. I know I was running into report campaigns from other former DC Comics pros, like Kwanzaa, who was out there trying to tell people I'm a racist and I shouldn't be on Kickstarter. And Ethan Van Sciver seemed to be fine with that at the time. And this is exactly what these guys are doing. And this is a real problem that these guys have, is that they are really rooting for just anybody who is like a competitor or whatnot to not be able to even sell their books, rooting for anti-commerce kind of things. It's really, really sick. It's like I said, this is disgusting. Rooting for somebody's website tech problems so they can't sell an independent comic book is the antithesis of what our movement is about. This is Marvel DC behavior, and it has no place here. Sure enough, Jon Malin says a lot of what he's going on. Look at this right here. I sold out my longtime pals for this. You did. Thanks, Big Booty Daddy, with some AI image of Yellowflash opening a thing of cash from what looks like a Eric July type person. Very, very weird right now. Now, Yellowflash didn't sell out anybody. These guys just decided to turn their entire establishment to attacking Eric July, attacking Nerderotic over and over and over again because they got jealous that those guys just kept talking about the culture war and getting bigger. So they decided to pivot to blood, sports, and drama because they weren't ever about the culture war. Jon Malin was an Obama voter. Ethan Van Sciver might have been an Obama voter. I think he was. And so this is where these guys are at. They never were here. And so when they were held up as the cultural alternatives, they were never about that. And so, of course, they're tearing down anybody who is attempting to do that at this point. And here's Shane Davis, of course, attacking Eric July. Here's Eric July's awesome music. Eric July is obviously a Renaissance man who does a lot of different art stuff. Really cool, right? And he says, if you spend as much time working on your craft as you did complaining, well, you wouldn't have the time or energy to be worried about everybody else. And a decade later, it rings true, he says. And so Shane Davis says, whatever Kraft claimed is worthless when you misprint the book, completely compound the issue by burning both backers' book and shipping money to mail them defective product. You see how everything's just like some kind of outrage sort of situation where they're just using everything to try to just attack Eric July over and over again. And that's the real reason they're going at Yellowflash. You want to talk about selling out. Yellowflash is just making a book. John Dillard is a guy who's an artist who's been friendly with these guys for a long, long time. John Dillard never had anything critical to say about these guys. In fact, they used to talk about how his art was great. Now they call it trash. Why? Because they sold out their people, all because they would just want to snip at Eric July's and nip at his heels. That's all they're doing. And it's really, really sad over and over again to watch this kind of behavior and watch it to get this extreme at this juncture. Now, I guess there's been some rumors going around, some stuff going around about Ethan Van Sciver's got a book with an artist or whatever. And people asked me to cover it, and there is something that's out there. And that one is not to my taste. I'm not going to buy it or look at it or anything like that. I mean, I'm not going to support these guys who clearly hate me, obviously, either. But at the same time, like, again, our ethos here is not to tear down independent creators and tear down the stuff that they're making. So I'm really not going to be covering that. You guys can go look at it yourself and make your own decisions on that book as it is, for its own content. But our goal here is to actually show what's being done right. Rippasend is doing things right. Rippaverse is doing things right. Eric July is doing things right. Yellowflash, by going here, is going to where people actually care about books. And that's what's important right here. So the Golden Patriot is moving right along, and I really do think that they're really struggling because this is outselling anything they've put out this year, and they know it. It doesn't look good for them, and so they just have to lash out as much as possible. So this is the new movement, guys. This is where we're changing. We do not want this kind of thing in our culture, and I don't want to just sit here and just harp on Ethan Van Sciver's product or anything like that either. That's not really my purview. My job is to tell you what's going on with the leftist stuff out there and show you exactly what they have going on in a bad way, and the corporate culture that is the cancer that's destroying the comic book industry, and present independent alternatives in a way. I just got a new book in from Josh Howard, by the way, which is awesome. And I love talking about books. I embed them in the videos now. It's called Black Harvest Remastered. So he had a whole graphic novel that he used to do, and he remastered it and re-released it himself. It is awesome stuff. That guy has some of the best art out there, and he's got a wonderful, wonderful storyline here that is good and worth checking out. Josh Howard, if you don't know who he is, go look him up, and he is worth checking out as well. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Sign up for my newsletter. So important to do so, guys. This is where the action's at. This is where it's always going to be. I don't want to lose you with any algorithm things in the future. You have to be on here and stay connected with me. Second, if you want to go to a web store, support our books, love for you to do so. Check it out. It's in the description below. We'll see you soon.